Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today, our fantastic and very chic guest is Shereen.
Hi, I'm Shereen.
So we have to, okay, so you used to be our camera op.
Yeah.
But more than that.
The OG.
The OG. So I feel
I was
really
the OG?
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. I didn't know that.
Really?
You guys, dreams do come true. You can be behind the camera.
Shut up.
And then you can go in front of the camera. You know?
No, we did have a glow up of we're no longer in my dirty apartment.
Yeah. Well, I refused to be on it when you guys were in the apartment.
Yeah, you're like, this is disgusting. I hate it here. But you also have your own podcast, which is currently crushing it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's called Ethnically Ambiguous. I host it with my friend Anna. It's about being ethnically ambiguous, and we talk about like Middle Eastern news and issues that don't get covered in the media, like Western media, and just being like minority girls and children of immigrants and just venting. It's like weekly therapy.
It. I really love it. As soon as
you listen to it,
yes. As soon as you told me you had a podcast.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You guys, dreams come true.
Megan listens to
Oh my god! I mean, you're in really great company. I also started listening to the Bon Appetit podcast, and then I also I've gone into hate listening podcasts of people that I don't like, and I need to stop.
Yeah.
Right. That's a lot of energy.
It is a lot of, I think I did a lot of negative energy bottled up. But yeah, so I feel like, I guess I'll explain to you guys if you're new here, because you already know how this goes. But this is our advice podcast. And with our fantastic co-host, producer, superwoman, what else do you want to call yourself today?
I don't know.
I like your shirt.
Just here.
Just here. I'm just here for a good time.
Yeah.
Not a long time.
I like how she's like
what song
behind
is
the
that?
desk, all professional, and just like almost like interviewing us.
Sort of. Yeah.
It is. It looks like we're a job interview and like we're like really far away.
Really far.
Like
That's
we're not
because I
gonna
don't
get
like
it.
you.
Yeah. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. What is that song from? Dun, dun. Is it a show tune, Aislinn? No. Oh. I'm here.
Aislinn's here too.
You know what it was? Do you know why? Oh yeah, Aislinn's in the background. I know why it is. Have you ever watched Superfruit? Two of the guys from Pentatonics?
Yeah.
No.
So they did musical Broadway singing of rap songs. And so now I have them singing the musical version of a rap song. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So that's why I thought it was from a musical.
What is that from? That's going to bother me.
It's a rap song, but I only can think of it from the musical version. Asa knows. Just say it.
No, well, there's also like an old rock song that's taken from.
So it's taken from a rock song, put into a rap song, and I'm remembering it from Pentatonics doing a musical version of that cover?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Also,
Melissa?
when people do this on podcasts
What's it from?
and everyone gets angry.
I'm not going to think of anything else until I know.
No, all the listeners are going to just be like, this is what
exactly.
Just fucking say it. How do you not know?
Well, the first thing is from a George Strait song.
Oh,
country.
Oh,
His country song. Yeah.
He's a country song.
He's a country song.
Yeah.
A country boy.
He's a country
It's
boy.
also,
Shake it
according
for
to
me.
Urban Dictionary, it's in a lot of Tinder bios.
Tinder.
We're all good lyrics go to die.
Not a long
Big
time.
Sean also has
Oh,
a song
okay.
featuring Drake and Kanye West.
Okay, so that's definitely what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a phrase that's been used.
Also, Trooper.
Troopers, the Rock's band.
Yeah, they have a song as well. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So it's a popular.
Is it the new motto? Because I feel like we've said it so many times now.
Oh man.
Yep. Well, guys, it's an advice podcast. We are going to listen to your voicemails that you called in with and you left them to us because you have shit going on in your life. And if you are an international listener, then you emailed us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. So I didn't say the phone number, did I?
Nope.
Okay, great. If you want to call in for a future episode, 310-694-0976.
Your eyes are open.
I know. I've improved.
She's evolved.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm in a dream.
Look at her. She does it with her eyes open. Except
not even that. Like, to all you out there, I was behind the camera just recording this. Not even thinking about the possibility. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I forgot to do my eyebrows stand. I was like, I'm not really wearing any makeup today except for the concealer I have on the zit in the middle of my forehead.
Oh yeah, I have. I'm glad this mic's right in my face, honestly. So you can.
Your skin looks good.
No, there's a zit like right on my chin. That if I actually can't go, I can't lift my face up.
My head's right here, and if I turned my chin a certain way, it was just like the angle of my jaw was like dee-doop. Yeah, it was a cute moment. I just had my period, so
cute.
Shereen does a fun thing on her Instagram called. Is it pimple or freckle?
Freckle or pimple, F4P. It's a series. It's all my highlights.
Wait, I love that.
I take a picture of my face and I circle all the like weird blemishes that you think are that are not normal, and then I give it's like a series, so it's like one photo is just the circles, and then I give the audience some time to like think about what it is, and then I reveal like the reds are usually pimples, like I circle red, and then the greens are freckles, or just like unknown objects. And it's called Freckle or Pimple. Just IG highlights. That's what I use them for. I love that. I thought I got a new. I had maybe 5 freckles all over my entire body, and I thought I got a couple freckles on my face, and I was really excited one day. And turns out I had just had popcorn, and little burnt bits had flown up and got stuck to my face. Not freckles. It was charred popcorn. So I'm jealous. I wish I had freckles. Well, guys,
on that note,
should we get into the advice? Let's do it. I feel like I'm going to be really cunty today.
Hi, Megan. I am 25 years old, and I need some help with my mom. I currently live with my parents because I work 2 jobs, and I'm in school, and my work actually goes over 40 hours a week. I'm very busy. My mom is on this tangent of I need a boyfriend. I've been single for the past about 3 years now that I've been out of a very serious relationship. It was a hard relationship. That's besides the point. I'm over it. But my mom seems to think that I need to be in a relationship now. And I've told her on many occasions that I'm just so busy and I have so much on my plate right now that a relationship is not in my mind. And she just isn't listening to me. She really wants to set me up with a guy from work who I have zero interest in, and I've told her many times I have zero interest in, and I don't want to be set up because I'm so busy, but she doesn't listen to me, and I just don't know how to get through to her that I'm not in the place for a serious relationship right now. I get that she's worried about me, and she just wants me to be happy, but I'm taken care of. I have friends. I have people that I'm taken care of. And I don't tell her that, but I've told her that I'm fine. And she just really keeps wanting me to be in a relationship. And I don't know how to get through to her that that's not in the cards right now. So if you have any advice on this or any tips that you can think of that I can use with her, let me know.
I feel like she should just lie.
No, because then her mom's going to want to meet him. She's the kind of mom that's going to be like...
Or what if she says that she's dating a couple different people? You know, I've been going out on dates and that kind of thing.
I mean, I think you should just convince your mom that it's you like being on your own. Like independent. You're only 25.
Yeah.
Wait. And if you're, I think I mean, my parents are the same though. So, I mean, they don't understand why I'm always alone. But I think she'll eventually understand. Like, if she sees you being like happy and like flourishing and stuff, and just tell her that it's not your priority right now to be I don't know, partnered up, you know?
Yeah. I think also you don't have to, like, if you don't, obviously maybe lying's not the greatest advice. I can backtrack on that. But I mean, maybe as much as like, just don't let this, I don't know. There's sometimes there's just no convincing people something else.
Right.
And you just need, instead of trying to get her to see it from your point of view, you just need to stop trying to get her to see it from your point of view and stop caring about that. So if she really wants you to date and you say like, okay, for the last time, like, I'm really not into that right now. Like, I'm really focusing on me. The next time she brings it up, change the subject and like, let her know, like, I'm not going to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good point.
Good with this. And if you're good with this, I think also if you keep trying to prove her otherwise, she's probably going to just read into that being like, see, she's not happy with that. She's trying so hard to convince me. And like, she's just like channeling all of that sexual frustration. Like, you don't have to tell her like, don't worry, mom, I'm getting fucked. Like, which it sounds like you are. Yeah, girl, get it.
Get it.
Or just like fucking yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. I think you can just ignore it and then she'll get over it. But I think the more that you talk about it, even if it's trying to like defend your life choices, she's going to think that she has the option to talk to you about it. But if you tell her like, no, this is my personal life, like you don't have a say in it, I'm just going to do it. And then ignore her. If she like keeps like calling you and saying that stuff, just totally ignore her.
That's a really good point.
She'll get used to
That's a really good point. Like, don't spend so much energy convincing someone of like something they're not going to believe or whatever.
Yeah.
Just live your life. And she's ultimately obviously she's your mom and you like that relationship and I want it to be good, but she's not always right about your own life.
Yeah.
You know what's good for you. And if it's not being in a relationship right now, then I mean, I've never even had a real relationship and I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm sorry, I'm okay. No, I think it's just kind of a dated perspective that she has. And I think that the best way to show, exactly what you're saying, the best way to show that you don't need a relationship is just let her see you flourish.
Exactly.
And see that happen. And then even if she doesn't like settle down or stop with that, like maybe you have like siblings who are going to start dating someone. Maybe she's bored. Like maybe get her a Netflix subscription.
My older sister getting engaged has been a huge relief for me.
It takes the pressure off you.
We're like focusing on her and we're like happy for them and I'm taking their engagement photos. Like I have a place in the family and it's behind the camera.
And what happens when they get married?
No, then pressure.
I'm going to prolong this as much as possible because they're still both in like medical fellowship, so it's going to be at least like 2 years.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of time, but hopefully you have siblings that you can just like detract attention away from, and if you don't, then just ignore it.
Yeah.
My mom, same way. So I just started telling her about everybody in my life that has terrible relationships. It's like, I am flourishing. Like my life is great. Do you want me to be like Betty Sue over here, whose husband is cheating on her all the time? No.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to do that when I was in high school, just like so my parents wouldn't ask me about the people that I was seeing because I was like seeing like not the people they wanted me to see. And so I would just talk about everybody else's relationships so much that they would get distracted by that. So I say, fill her time with some other things. And then she'll eventually get over it. And the more you don't want to talk about it, she's also not going to want to ruin your relationship. This is coming from a good place from her really wanting you to be happy. And if she sees that the more she asks you about it, the more distance she's creating between you guys, it's not worth it for her. I don't think she'll be like, well, if you don't talk to me because you don't have a boyfriend, then we're never going to like, we're not going to talk anymore. Like, I don't see that.
She ultimately like, it's coming from a place of like care and I don't know. You could also find this video of Cher when she was younger being like, it's an interview and she says, my mom was saying like, why don't you just go marry a rich man? And I told her, I am a rich man.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, Cher. So find videos like that. Maybe express your opinion better than you can and like just send them to, even if it's a meme, I don't care. We're millennial garbage. Just
or make her watch like true crime things about like boyfriends or husbands who kill their wives and be like, look what I'm saving myself from death.
True. And you're crushing it. You're in school full time. You've got 2 jobs.
Who the fuck has time for that? No. You don't. You genuinely don't.
Flourish,
also,
baby.
You're only 25. Like you have so much time and being by yourself is so important. And I think the best relationships happen when you're not trying. Like when you're doing your best, when you're out there killing it, and then like it happens naturally. I think that's you're already your best self or like becoming that person, and then it happens. It's not like you're constantly seeking it out, because I think that it doesn't really work out the best when it happens that way.
That's how you settle. Yeah. As opposed to being like, I'm great, I'm crushing it. Yeah. I don't need anyone. Then someone's like, I'm also great and I'm crushing it. I don't need anyone. You're like, you're awesome. We're both awesome.
You attract like people when you're like at that level. Yeah. And yeah,
I did a lot of really shitty guys when I was really shitty in college. So, okay. On to the next. Good luck, by the way.
Yeah.
Congrats on school and being smart and
killing
jobs. Yeah. Keep flourishing.
I'm 20 years old, and when I was in high school, I realized I couldn't fit a tampon in, so I went to my gynecologist, and she said that I had a micro-hymen, which means that it's just a really small hymen. I was really nervous about it and insecure because I was like, great, I can't have sex. Well, when I was a freshman in college, I decided to get the surgery to help me with that, and I could insert a tampon, so it worked out fine. But now I'm dating my boyfriend that I've been dating for like 8 months, and everything's good, except we're not able to have sex because I'm still like really tight. I went to the gynecologist about it, and she said that I looked normal and everything was fine, which I was hoping that would be a problem. That way I could get it fixed. My boyfriend doesn't pressure me to have sex, and he's really supportive. And after we try every time and we can't get it, I just start kind of crying because it makes me insecure, and I feel bad that I can't help him out, and I feel like it's my fault. But he reassures me that it's not my fault, and he really gets upset when I'm upset because, you know, he wants me to be happy, and he understands that this isn't my fault and that this is something that we're going to have to work through together. And he's really patient, but I just keep on feeling really guilty about it. And I know I shouldn't, but it's really hard on me because I want him to be able to have that fulfillment and stuff like that. I mean, we do other stuff, so it's fine, but I just feel really insecure about it still, and I just don't know what to do. I've tried dilators and vibrators and everything like that. And also my boyfriend, I think, is pretty big, so that also contributes to it, and it just makes me really upset. So if you have any advice or maybe encouragement, that would be great. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I had a friend who will not name names, but I had a friend who had the same thing. So she ended up getting the surgery too. And she found that I also love when I say friend, it usually is about me. This one's actually not about me. I did a lot of gymnastics and like falling on the beam. Like I didn't, girl had no hymen by the time I was having sex. But I had a friend who that was her. And like, she found out the same way. It was like, she was having a really hard time using tampons and went to the doctor, found that out. And then she also did the same thing, waiting a while to have the surgery, started dating someone and was like, I really want to do it. She did it. And it took a while for her to be able to have sex because for her, it was so much more, not like psychosomatic, but it was so much more in her head of like this, like the first time she ever tried, like she'd failed so many times that by the time that like everything was fine and she was able to do it, like she was psyching herself out.
Because you tense up and it makes it worse.
Like think about like if you're not even turned on, like you're like not wet, and then that's already like, even if like you have a giant vagina, like that's still not like it's a wide set vagina. Me and my super tampons like yesterday, but like you don't like, even with that can be super uncomfortable and like painful, but also the second that you start to feel that, like your body will be like, nope, I'm done. So I would say like, as much as like perseverance and try again, I think because you went back to the gynecologist and they said everything looks fine, which I totally get the feeling of like you want something to be wrong so you can fix it, and not saying that you're the thing that's wrong at all, but I think like you guys, you need to not be so hard on yourself with this, because he's clearly not being hard on you and not upset with you for this at all. But knowing that like it isn't an impossible feat, and it also like it's probably going to be quite uncomfortable the first couple times, and then it'll get better. Like it's not like vaginas stretch and have babies. Like it's something that can stretch. And as much as like that sounds awful and terrible and painful, it might be for the first couple times. And even as somebody who like broke their hymen before they had sex, like the first like 3 times I had sex, I was like, this is not like, this is just, I mean, it wasn't good like for a while because like teenage boys, but it was like physically painful for a while and uncomfortable until your body like understands the response to that. So like you've been a foreplay and you're like getting warmed up and you're like actually really wanting it. And your body's like clearly showing that, you know, getting like hot and bothered. And then like the more that you do it, the more comfortable that you'll get. But I think if you just try and like wanted this to be a cure-all and a fix thing, I think you need to continue to take baby steps. Yeah, baby steps. He sounds like a great partner to like be patient with you, and it's hard not to feel guilty because like I understand like wanting to give affection and being a giver and like wanting that person to feel fulfillment, but try not to blame yourself. I think that's really important because I think that makes it worse for your because it is psychosomatic. It makes it worse on yourself and your body, like when you're trying to do it and you feel guilty or nervous or whatever. So yeah, maybe just be patient with yourself and keep trying, and maybe like even like invest in some like water-based lube. You know, like so because again, like if you're nervous about it and like scared or blaming yourself, your body might not be like open for business. No, your body's like, no, we're nervous, I'm scared, I'm tapping out early. And also if he's big, that's another issue. So I love how she said I think he's big, which I just love cute. That but not a lot to compare it to, which is great. Also like even if he's not big, he probably would love that. It's like, well, she doesn't know. Like I'm huge. Also, no, but he sounds like a good guy, you know.
I was going to say also, if you went to the same doctor that did the surgery, maybe try going to a different doctor and get a second opinion. Because they might just be telling you
because she already did her work.
Because they did the work. Wow.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
She's just so smart. You're so smart. But I think focusing so much more on foreplay and also like just in general, I think women especially put so much like importance on like penetration as like this is sex, like, and it's really not. It's not like it's really not sex. Like I know people who've never been penetrated, but they've have sex regularly. Like that's it's such like a dated way of thinking about it. And you're saying that you guys are pleasuring yourselves and like you're doing all these other things. So your sex life isn't necessarily, it's not suffering because of this. And it's clearly not a deal breaker for him. And I think like the more insecure and the worse that you feel about this, you're not going to be enjoying the other parts of sex. Like there's some girls who don't like going down on guys, and I consider oral sex. And like if a girl who doesn't want to go down on a guy or a guy who's not going in, I mean, I'd be a deal breaker for me if a guy didn't want to go down on a girl, but like they're in relationships. Like there are certain things that you want and you need. And then there are other things that's like, you know what? I signed up for this. Like this is not a deal breaker of mine. And like, I'm good moving forward with this. And I think you're inheriting blame that he's not putting on you. Exactly. That's a really good way to say it. Like, it's this shame that we just, it's just as women, I think too, like, that's what like my vagina's for. Yeah, as if we're like responsible for making them come, which is like not the case. Like I think like the same way he's not responsible for making you come. It's like, then again, I don't know what I'm talking about. But what was I gonna say? I wanted to bring up something that was in my head. Just enjoy intimacy. I think for me, our relationship, like it's just the intimacy that goes with that isn't just penetrative sex. It's like holding each other or like just like the foreplay around all of the other stuff. Like penetrative sex it's part of sex, sure, but it's not like an end all be all. You're right. It's not like the end of the fucking race. Like that's what happens. It's like, and it's also not necessarily constantly mutually beneficial for both people. Like you're not necessarily missing out on a lot. But so just make sure you're also not blaming yourself and enjoying the rest of it, not thinking like, well, I wish I could do this or I wish I could do that. Like, I think maybe your brain is taking you out of the good parts when really you should just be living in those moments. And then also, I don't know if you've had talked to the doctor. I know, I mean, as somebody who's terrified of gynecologists, there's a look coming from Melissa. I think like being really honest and saying like, well, my boyfriend and I have been trying. Are there any like tips or things that I could do? Because they might have some suggestions of things that you could physically be doing to make it better. Like maybe like, I like will track my cycle to like make sure I'm not pregnant. But I think there's even times when your body's like more horny and not, and like finding those things and making sure that you're going into it. Like, how do I set myself up for like to be really turned on and be really into this moment, and then not like, okay, it's Thursday night, we're gonna try and have penetrative sex.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, just like let it naturally happen, and then if it doesn't happen, don't quit either. You know, like don't be like, okay, we're done, we're getting off, we're moving on. Like have him go down on you after that. Go down on him. Like make it so like if it doesn't work and it doesn't happen, that's not like the end of like the sexual experience.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because you'll walk away feeling defeated, but in reality, like you won't be defeated
because you're still with the person that you want to be with, and like you're intimate. And I think it's lovely.
Yeah, I think it is lovely too. And good luck. Go to a doctor. Yeah, let us know how it goes.
Melissa's smart.
She is smart.
To her.
Do that.
Genius.
Fucking alien genius over here. On to the next one.
I'm 23 years old, and I've had a boyfriend for about a year now. I love his family. I love him so much. My issue is that him and his older sister, are super close. They are about 2 years apart, and I have an older brother. He's 10 years older than me, and I am not very close with him, so I can't really relate to that. My issue is they are so close that they're super open with their bodies. She will change in front of him, go to the bathroom in front of each other, even talk about boob size. And sometimes it just makes me feel uncomfortable, maybe even a little bit like jealous, I guess. It's really weird, and I was wondering if you can give me any advice. I don't know if I'm crazy, if they're just super close, if they're just like best friends. I know being a close sibling, you know, you're around each other all the time. I don't know.
I have all sisters. I know, Shereen, you have all sisters.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, I have two sisters, and we're both assigned female, like sexually or whatever, and I pee in front of them, and I change in front of them. But I'm also queer, so if I ever was with a girl, would she be uncomfortable with me doing that? At the same time, though, I think coming at it from a straight relationship, it is a little strange because, I mean, I don't want to have like a double standard, but it is.
No,
your bodies are different. Like my sisters and I, we all have boobs. We all have we all sit down to pee. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not like, but I think, especially if they grew up together so close, like if they were always used to changing in front of each other, maybe they shared a room or something, like maybe they got used to that, and maybe they're not aware that for you coming at it from the outside, it's so strange to you.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, I don't know. I mean, also a guy that has sisters, I'm sure he talks about like a guy that has a sister and a mom already, he probably has more talk about periods and boob size, like growing up that he didn't like want. So maybe that's something else. But I think changing in front of each other, that's where I find it. No.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about the double standard, because you're right. I wouldn't think anything of it if like I was like, I don't know if I was, if it was like a girl, like a queer and like women changing in front of each other, like in siblings. But I think the reason why I would think of it differently is just because how different women's brains are.
Right.
When it comes to like sexual, like attraction and things like that. Like women don't think with a penis. Like there's so much more logic and that's like just like a fact, like prove it about how women think versus how like male brains work. And so this is what I would like, the reason why I find this weird, I wouldn't necessarily find it as weird if like, let's say like they're on like a camping trip or whatever. Right. And like, they're like, she's like changing and she's like in, like she's changing from her bra to something. And her like brother would probably be like, oh, gross. Ew. Let me turn around in the same room. But like the fact that you know that they change in front of each other means that like, it's not that. Right. And it's not like, oh my God, gross, sister, stop. Like, that's fucking nasty. Like, stop it. We're right here. Like, he's not doing that. So you know about it. And like, he's not, you're concerned because he's not grossed out by it. And like, I think, I mean, what was like, there was like, I mean, also throw it back to into freakish, like they like wrote in incest storylines about brothers and sisters.
Wait, really?
They like wrote it in, they're like, no, we're all like, yeah, no, they're like fucking, like, why is she so jealous of him
that show
talking to
Life
girls?
of Derek or whatever?
Yes.
Oh my God. Even growing up, I wanted them to get together.
Me
But
too.
they were step siblings, but still.
So I think like there's like definitely a weird line there. I don't want to like make it like hella dark or whatever, but like there's like, I listen to like a lot of true crime and like psychological things, and like a lot of like either kids who were like sexually abused tend to have like a weird, can have like those, not weird, not to like, I don't want to shame, but like can have kind of a bond over certain things that can make them just be a lot closer and have a skewed view of what's okay sexually. Not saying that that's the case there.
No.
And like just to cover that, there might have been something like that, but I think like,
but it's also like when you grow up with someone so close into your age, they kind of define like what the other sex is to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think maybe just explaining to him that like you don't relate to that closeness or whatever, and you would just feel more comfortable if, I don't know, actually, does that like make you, I don't know how to word it so like, you're not like being annoying. Like, I mean,
it's normalized for them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not weird because it's what they've always grown with.
Yeah.
It's just normal. It's not.
I want to know
like,
what exactly it is. Though.
Like, I know plenty of hippies that like change in front of each other and like
mom and son.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But I think the thing is like, if you're feeling, you have to decide of, are you, because the fact that she's saying that she's feeling jealous, that's the part to me. Because I'm like, it's not like so I've got a half brother, but he's like way, way older than me. So we've never had this kind of relationship. But even my guy friends that I consider to be like my brothers, the times that I've like accidentally changed in front of them, I've scarred them for life. And they like have not been able to look at me in the eyes. And we're not even related. Like, the one time Leo saw me like in my, did you see, he might've seen my boobs, and he freaked the fuck out, literally screamed out loud and ran. The time that Tyler did, could not look me in the eyes and like had to get on the group chat being like, guys, I just saw Megan's boobs. I'm losing my shit. I feel so uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. Like, and that's someone who's like a friend who we consider ourselves like siblings. Yeah. And so I think like the talking about girls and all that stuff, I want to know if he had guy friends growing up, because if he had guy friends and his sister was like, they were there and one of his like friends was like, oh, your sister's hot, he should have then been like, whoa, stop it, no. And there should have been this divide created at that age of like I'm like, he's 2 years older than his sister, or there's a 2 years apart. There's a 2 year like age difference. Yeah. There had to have been a moment. There should have been a moment where his friends or her friend, like something was established that it was like, you know, that's my sister. Right. And then they would have really changed how they acted around each other. Just because like you do, like kids bathe together when they're little, like those things.
But now you're like in your 20s.
Yeah. Once you get to a teenage age is kind of where that like should be that shift.
Yeah.
And like, it's like the same time when like kids stop, like not all the time, but a lot of time when kids stop kissing their parents on the mouth is when they start to associate those acts sexually with other people.
I still don't like, I mean, me and my parents never had a kissing on the mouth thing. I think it's like something I do not understand.
Because you associate it sexually.
Not just that, I just don't like mouths. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
But it's also like, I've seen sisters be really, or like siblings be really protective of their brothers or sisters. And like, especially when a person comes into their life, like romantically. And so maybe there's something like that going on, like with the sister. Yeah. Maybe she's just very protective of her brother and like it comes off like really strange. I don't know. Maybe like, because I feel like you being uncomfortable can't be that much of a shock. Right? Like,
no, that's what I mean. Like there has to be something that they're doing, and who's changing in front of who, and under what circumstance.
And how much unchanging is going on? Is it like just down to underwear? Or is
because if it's just down to underwear and like she's changing or whatever, and like is he like turning away but he's not leaving the room? Yeah. Like because that's the kind of stuff that like I don't necessarily find super weird if he's not looking, but like I even have friends who like are men who identify as being gay, and then they have like female siblings who also identify as being gay, and they don't like watching each other change, and they're A siblings and also not attracted to those parts, right? And they still are like, no, gross, ew. Yeah. So I think like they're just, there has to be a reason why you feel uncomfortable and jealous. And like, I don't want to rule out the fact that they might have like an inappropriate sort of relationship. Not saying that it crossed over, but
who knows? I mean,
Game of Thrones.
I'm more likely to believe that like they just like were raised really open and are very comfortable with each other or whatever. But I still think you need to have like a sit down conversation with only him and like tell him like you don't relate to this, and sometimes it makes you feel uncomfortable when he's like when she also like how many times are you changing in front of her? Like I don't understand. But like just tell him like it would make you just explain why you're feeling uncomfortable. Explain that you. And maybe he'll just come back and be like, well, it's always been like this. And then, I don't know, just make sure you tell him that you're uncomfortable without being like defensive or attacking him. Just explain your point of view, being like, I've never been, I've never had a relationship like the one that you have with your sister. I just want you to know that I feel uncomfortable sometimes. And here's the reasons why.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would tread lightly too, because that sister brother bond, that's never going to go away.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But you
could be temporary.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. A lot of siblings are protective over their siblings and can like be detrimental to a romantic partnership. So,
but I think you've got ground to stand on because you also have a brother. Like you have that same potential of that relationship, and you don't have it. But I think exactly that. Tell him that you feel uncomfortable. And
don't be attacking or
judging how they've been parented or how they've grown up. Just say like, it just makes me uncomfortable. Explain this to me because my relationship with my brother, I'd call us like very close, but like these are things that as somebody who has a brother, I would feel a little uncomfortable with. And I just have this, I don't know, like I just feel weird about it. And I'd love to like understand more about it. And then if there is no change and he really like comes at you and like isn't
like mad or something, I think it's like a red flag.
I think it's a total red flag, and then just move on, because like if it makes you uncomfortable now, it's probably, and he doesn't want to change it, like it's not worth it to
you don't want it to sound like it's me or her, because he'll always choose her. You know what I mean? Because Melissa's right, like there's a bond that you can never compete with.
But yeah, maybe he just like had no guy friends, and you're gonna say this and he's gonna be like, oh my god, wait, what do you mean you're not like this with your brother? And he might panic and feel like, holy shit, this is so weird. Like I didn't know this was weird.
I think I'm more likely to give him the benefit of the doubt and just think they're just like, I don't know, just raised a little more open than I'm used to.
Does he change in front of his mother too? I know Shia LaBeouf, like him and his mom walk around naked.
Yeah, exactly. There are families where it's just like bodies are not as like I don't know, like not shamed. It's just they're all
just naked. Which I'm a self-identified naked person. Like will be naked in front of anybody. Do not care. Like totally fine with it. But like. I don't know. Like
I'm like that too sometimes, and like I'll change it for my older sister doesn't really care. My little sister, I don't realize I'm making her uncomfortable sometimes.
I'm very much like that, where I'm like, other people, I will get naked spray tans in my living room and friends will be over and I'm like, I know we just met, I'm so sorry. I think the first time Aislinn saw me naked, weeks into knowing her. And that's just how I am.
Sometimes I don't realize that like, even though I'm not uncomfortable, like, you don't want to see my boobs? Sorry. Like,
but at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily like, I don't know, I wouldn't change in front of like, so
like my cousins or something.
Yeah, or I wouldn't change in front of like, if I felt comfortable changing in front of my guy friends, which I totally am, but they're not comfortable with that. But if I was comfortable changing in front of them, again, which I am, and they were, and let's say I'm changing to bra and underwear, not getting totally naked. I also wouldn't fucking do that like in front of their girlfriend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, even though I'm like, oh no, it's just like a totally platonic, like.
I want to know how she found out that happened.
Me fucking too.
Like, were they like there?
About it,
like, were they like swimming around in a pool and then they all went to change and she just like stayed, like the sister just like was there and just I don't know, like what's the context?
I don't find the bathroom thing is weird. I think it's more just kind of like them like going to the bathroom in front of each other, like whatever.
One's brushing their teeth,
exactly.
And one's shitting.
Especially, I mean, like I grew up sharing rooms all my whole life because we didn't have a lot of money, and so like we got used to trading in front of each other, going to the bathroom at the same time, even showering together. Me and my sister would shower together, like just to save water and stuff. So
my best friend and I showered together for years, and our parents were like, "Whoa, we're like."
So I understand bathroom stuff because you're just like, I have to pee, you have to wash your hands, just like get it over with. Yeah. So it's like those things are different, but I don't know.
I think if you're reading into it and it's making you jealous and uncomfortable, even if it's not necessarily coming from his side, maybe it's coming from her side, or maybe there is something there. I think you need to say it in a nice way and then trust your gut.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing. Just trust how you feel deep down, because it's usually not wrong.
No, your gut is never wrong. And also, even if like that is the truth and there is nothing more there, that feeling you have isn't going to go away. And it's not worth it just to keep feeling that feeling. Even if like, they're like, no, this is why. Yeah. Even if they're not like fucking incestual as hell and it feels like that, it still feels like that. Please
update us on this one.
I need to know.
I need to know more about this and how you found out that they were even doing that.
And has this happened to anybody else?
Oh yeah, maybe
it has. Someone else has called in with a similar call before.
Oh my God. Okay. Is it time for a break? Mm-hmm. I'm getting so psychic. I could just count the calls and know when it's time for a break, but no.
God, so much has changed since I've been gone.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going on a quick break and then we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we are back from our break and we're going to hop on to some more calls.
Hi, Megan. I'm 22 years old, and I'm calling to ask advice on a little situation I have. I've been dating my boyfriend for about a year now, and I started thinking recently about how I used to have experiences with girls, and don't get me wrong, I am completely in love with my boyfriend. I love him to death. But I was wondering if there's a chance that I could be bi, and if I am, what exactly would be something I could do after that? Like, would I have to tell my boyfriend, or like, do I just forget about it? Because I don't plan on being with any girls, but I have enjoyed it when I was with one. It's only been one. But I've always been kind of scared to keep experimenting. But so I don't know what to do, but I think I shouldn't do anything. But I don't know, maybe some advice from you guys would be great.
I do think you should tell him, because I think you should be honest with your partner. But I also think, like, I remember when I was dating someone pretty regularly, like the closest thing I've had to a relationship, basically, I got really terrified because I also like women, and I was like, I'll never be with a woman again. Like, oh, I'm trapped. And I like kind of self-sabotaged it without even knowing, like, because I was just like waiting for it to end, or I was just like making excuses to like find threesomes, or like, I don't know, like I was like trying my hardest to be like, I still want to be with women. So I think, even subconsciously, I think if you don't tell him, I think it'll kind of eat away at you, because you're hiding something that you think is like detrimental to the relationship. But I think if you tell him that like you've had experiences before that you've enjoyed and you want to be with him, but you just want him to know that like if you guys are going to continue to be intimate, like you want him to just know the whole you know what I mean? I do think it's good that you're not like me and thinking like you're trapped forever. Because I think that's the problem, that like if a lot of like queer or bi people come into going into relationships with straight people, is that like you feel like you're only giving them like part of you. But I think if you're honest with him, and if he understands, then that's great. If he doesn't understand, then he's garbage. But I think he should understand.
Yeah, and I agree with all of that. I think you don't need to necessarily like read into, I don't know. I think like thinking about anybody when you're in a relationship, thinking about other people when you're in a current relationship usually means like you might be feeling trapped and a little like, oh, do I really want this? But I think if it is just coming from a place of, I don't feel like he knows all of me, and now I'm like worried that I'm not being upfront and honest, like it's going to like implode because I'm not being myself. Yeah. I think like, and then also you might tell him, and then a couple like months down the road, you might be like, you know what, I'm not totally into you. And maybe you won't even go date a girl after that. You'll date a guy. But I think like the way to give your relationship like the best shot is to be open and honest. So you're not withholding anything that might like make you self-sabotage a relationship because you're not being honest. But at the same time, if you don't feel like it's something that's important for him to know, and you feel like maybe this is like your mind telling you that you don't want to be with him, you also can break up with him, and you don't have to tell him that I'm bi, that's why I'm breaking up with you, because it can also be not the reason why. It could be manifesting itself in different ways. So I think you need to have like a conversation with yourself with being like, whoever I like, it doesn't matter whether whatever I want to identify or not identify as. And is the reason why I'm thinking about this because I'm unhappy in this relationship, or is it because I don't feel like I'm so happy in this relationship, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because I don't feel like I'm being totally honest. And then figure out from there. And then I say, if you feel ready, like totally tell him. And again, if he's a good guy, will not give a shit.
Yeah.
And if
like imagine if it was reversed and if he had an experience with a guy that he enjoyed. Like, I think it would be nice to like share that with each other. I don't know. Like, I think it's like being, like, especially, I mean, I don't know how, did you say how long they've been dating? I don't know.
I think almost a year, 6 months.
Yeah, that's plenty of time to be that open and honest with each other. I think talking about like, like talking about your past experiences is so important. And I think there is less stigma when it comes to girls and girls together. But like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just annoying. But for whatever reason, like, I feel like he should be accepting of it, and just letting him know that like you want to be with him. If that's the case, like you want to be with him, and you just want him to know that like you're also figuring out your own sexuality, but it has nothing to do with the relationship. It's more just like you're accepting that like, oh, I've had this experience with a girl, and it wasn't nothing to me, you know?
And I think when you hide something, especially when it's something like about yourself because you don't want it to hurt your relationship, it's going to hurt it no matter what. Because if you're hiding it because you don't want to know if he's going to be accepting, you're going to find out in a way that he talks shit about this same situation with other people. And you're going to be like, you're talking shit about me. You just don't know it. Yeah. So give him the opportunity. And I always say, give people the opportunity to be a good person and be the great guy. But if he doesn't, you not telling him doesn't erase that part of you or erase that part of your past. Like, he's either going to love you for this, or like love you regardless of like who you've been with, as he should, or he's not going to. And him not knowing still means that he like those feelings would still exist.
And I think really like putting him aside, like this is an amazing time for you to really like discover yourself and like coming to the realization that like this experience that you had with a girl was meaningful to you and like awakened a part of you that you didn't realize was there, and realizing maybe you might be bi. Those are like amazing feelings to feel, but they're also terrifying. And I think if you're feeling alone in them, like I'm glad you even reached out, because it's like brave to do so. But I really hope he's supportive of you if you do decide to tell him, because I think it's a very fragile place to be mentally. And because you think you know yourself your whole life, and then you're like, well, maybe I don't.
Psych.
But yeah, I mean, that your whole life is all about like fucking self-growth and self-improvement, and we all are learning and growing as we go. And so if this is like another development of that, then more power to you.
Yeah. Best of luck. Let us know how it goes. I think it'll go great.
Yeah.
And if not, fuck him. He's the worst. And you're great.
Yeah, exactly. And you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah. On to the next.
I'm 21 years old, and I've been dating my boyfriend basically since like freshman year of high school, which I know that is very long, but we took it really slow, and we just had like a thing for a while, and we were really realistic about our relationship, and we are now in college, and we're still together. So we started having sex when we were about like 18 years old, and it's been really good, but the only thing is that I've never orgasmed from sex, like penis, vagina sex. And so I've orgasmed from like him eating me out, and like really that's all that I've ever orgasmed from. But he usually wants to go like just straight into it, and I always need to like work up to it, because I feel like if he's gonna come, I'm going to. So my question is, how do you think that I could help myself in a way? I've like thought about sex toys, but he's not like really into that type of shit. I don't know. I don't want to like scare him or like pulling out like a whipping out like he's like a dildo or something. So I guess my question is like, what's a tame thing that I could do? Yeah, because I want to enjoy it without having to constantly be like, yo, dude, go down on me first, because I'm not going to do it, because, you know.
Oh my God. She needs to stop defending him.
If you're watching this on YouTube and you saw me like laugh in the middle of that, just know that it was because I knew Melissa had put the past 2 questions on just for me, I feel like, because she knew that I would have.
All the questions for every guest are
You're
tailored
very tailored?
to them. Yes.
No. Well, Melissa's the best. I've never had an orgasm. I'm just going to say it outright. And
with some, just ever. Okay.
And I'm in my late 20s, and it's kind of like a weird thing to like admit, but I think it's when it comes to, I think because you guys have, it sounds like you guys are each other's firsts, and he does not know what he's doing as far as being like a giving lover. He sounds like a very selfish lover, and only thinking about himself and not realizing like you need more to climax or even like get pleasure out of it. I think, first of all, I think being okay with not orgasming all the time is like the first step, but if it's because of him not reciprocating, then that's another issue entirely. He sounds like he needs to like grow the fuck up.
It sounds like he's comparing, the only thing he's comparing this to is sex in movies. So it's like, oh, she can't come from penetrative sex. I've come from penetrative sex one time in my entire life. Yeah. Like once ever. Every other time I've come, it's because like if we're in like with a partner, it's like them going down on me or like fingering me or something like that. Like it's like the one time happened. It was like a rogue experience that I've never even tried to get back to. Like that's like, I don't know many women who do. So that the idea that he's saying like, well, what, you're like, well, why can't I come from penetrative sex? Like
women usually can't.
They can't can't. And so he's comparing your sexual experience to like what he sees in porn and he sees in things that like they're just not accurate in depicting this. So you're taking on this blame when in reality, then the entire nearly our entire gender would need to take on that blame. Yeah. So I don't want to say that like, oh well, he should have more sexual experience to understand that. But like, again, to recommend the book, She Comes First, like there's so, and like looping back to like, there's so much pressure put on the idea that like penetrative sex is sex. Yeah. And the idea that he wants you to like get off the exact same time, the exact same way he's getting off is fucking lazy. Yeah. That's so fucking lazy.
Also, like the pressure that you probably have on yourself to orgasm, like I know that I feel that all the time. Like it doesn't make sex fun. Like it just makes you in your head, and you won't come when you're thinking about it anyway, because you're just like, that's the whole point I've heard is like you're letting go or like whatever. No, like the first time I ever had an orgasm, it was like from masturbating, because I was like dating, I was like, I had sex with guys, had never come. Yeah. And I was like, I knew I was too nervous. And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm going to make a weird face. I'm going to make a weird fucking sound. Like, I don't know what it's going to be like. And it's like, I'm a control freak. So I was like, no, I'm going to make myself come first. So then I understand this. So it's not like going in dark and giving someone else this, making it feel in my head, because I'm like young, making it feel like I was giving someone else this power over something that I didn't really understand or know. So I was like, I need to experience this first to know what I'm getting. That's a really good point. Like, know what your body likes. Yeah. Like be with yourself first and know that like understanding how your body likes to be pleasured is really important.
And then and it sounds like she's like in the like you're wanting to bring in toys and bring in these different things. If he doesn't want to put forth any effort into you being satisfied or something, like that's he sounds insecure, and he's just like, he wants like his dick to be a fucking goldenrod of pleasure that like 3 pumps and you're like screaming. Like it's not going to happen. And if he's not willing to be like, okay, I hear you, I understand that, and I also want, the most important thing for me here is for you to also have a great time and be pleasured. If he's not going to do that, like that's a shitty partner. Yeah. Like it's just, it's lazy as fuck.
He sounds like if that's the case, then he does really sound like a shitty partner. And if you have to keep telling him to go down on you, then that's also fucking shitty.
Yeah, like, he should be into the fact, like you should be turned on on by
he should just be going down on you. Like you shouldn't have to tell him
how much pleasure that brings you. That's like, I am a huge fan of giving blowjobs because I'm great at them and I like them, not because like I love a dick in my mouth. Like I'm like being the control and the pleasure over somebody else, and how much like how great you can make someone else feel.
Fucking power.
All of the goddamn power.
It's like one of my biggest pet peeves when like there's a big legion of women that think like it's degrading to give blowjobs. I understand that, sure, but you have so much fucking power.
Yeah. You have a dick in your mouth.
Their most prized possession is like I can control. Bite it and they would die. Like, but I won't do that obviously. But like my point is, as a giving, I really like to give love when I'm like intimate or whatever, and I enjoy my partner like reacting to what I'm doing, and a good partner would like the reverse also. Like he should enjoy going down on you because he knows that he's giving you pleasure the same way that you probably want him to like finish every time. And it's probably, and maybe I'm projecting here, but like in my sexual experiences, because I've never had an orgasm, the end goal is usually my partner's orgasm. And so if that is the case for you guys, then he just sounds like he's like the fucking champion of sex. Like he just like the whole point is him finishing every time, and he's probably getting used to that because it sounds like you're his first sexual experience.
I've got a guy friend who him and one of his previous girlfriends, not with anymore, but they like she was never coming when they were having sex. And it was like a whole conversation that we had when we were in high school. And he was like petrified of it because he had been with one other serious girlfriend like earlier in high school, and they were each other's first sexual partners. And they both were like early on were able to get each other both off. And then he went on and dated this other girl later on in high school, and he wasn't able to make her come. And so he struggled with it a ton because it started with like, okay, well, he automatically is treating it like he treated his ex-girlfriend and things that she liked, but it ate at him away. Like there were so many fucking conversations of like him pulling like our female friends being like, so like, what do you like in bed? Because like what I'm doing is not working. And it was so important to him to have her, like he was having a hard time getting off because he knew that she wasn't. It's like it became so much about her and that pressure that eventually we were like, just fucking keep trying. Eventually it's going to happen.
That's like my worst fear, honestly. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm like, I'm broken. Why can't I do this? Like blah, blah, blah. Like it's really not. I just have to be patient with myself, and like I've gotten really close, I feel like, with partners and by myself, but the closest time I've gone with a partner was someone that I was very intimate with, like had history, and also it wasn't just his penis inside me. It was actually fingering. It wasn't like you won't know what works for you until you fucking try. And so I think keep experimenting with yourself and not with him. If he's not interested in like helping you achieve that, then you can move on and find a different, better person to be with. Because I think you'll find with sexual experiences, there are lovers out there that will fulfill you more. And he sounds like a dick.
Yeah. And like, it just sounds like a very young mentality, and like
she's only 20.
It's crazy because like I'm at this point in which people have like given me shit before because they're like, well, some girls don't like getting blowjobs, some guys don't like going. I'm like, great, that's fine, and there are people for everybody. But like if I went out with a guy and we're like hooking up and he was like, oh yeah, I don't go down on girls, like it was so great to meet you, I'm out. Like that's a deal breaker for me because like that's me getting rid of my sexual pleasure with a partner. Like I can still be able to get myself off, but like if I want to be with a partner and you're not into going down on me, that's great. I enjoy giving blowjobs, but like I want
it to be equal.
Yeah. If you don't have to, I don't know. It's just one of those, if he doesn't like doing that and it's not something that he's automatically doing off the bat because he enjoys your pleasure, like that's the biggest turn on for me. I get the most turned on when like a guy's like losing their shit because you're giving a great like blowjob. Like, that to me is the biggest turn on in the world.
It's like fuck penetrative sex.
Exactly. Like I'm way more turned on than that with then like sexting or anything else because like you feel so, it's just like empowering and sexy and hot and like you like that. And if he doesn't have those feelings there, it really sounds like he's just aiming for an end goal and doesn't want to put the work in. And if he doesn't want to put the work in, that's not on you. And it's not like I can't come from this. He will eventually learn. If you break up, he will eventually learn. It'll take maybe 5 or 6 girlfriends before he'll be with one girl who's like, no, it's not just, you haven't just dated a string of women who like need you to go down on them. That's just like a female thing.
Yeah. It sounds like he's not counting oral as sex.
Yeah.
It's just
Or like the back and forth of being like, well, if I'm going down on you, then you have to go down on me. It's like, well, that's not, it's not like penetrative sex and then oral sex. Like all of these fall under intimacy, sex. So whoever needs what to get off, if that's the goal and you're not just like fooling around with no goal in mind, which I think is also really important. But like if the goal here is for both of you to come, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's not like a tit for tat situation. No. Like it's all sex and like whatever you need to get you and your partner to get there, you should both want the other person to get there. It shouldn't be like, well, if like we're having penetrative sex and then I'm going down on you, you have to give me a blowjob immediately after. Like, what is the? It just sounds like I don't like that. It sounds like she was blaming herself a lot because I don't want to blame my vagina. Like, don't blame your vagina. Then the rest of us have to blame our vagina. I mean, I've been there. Like, I've felt a lot of blame for myself and like my inability to like reach that whatever it was. But it's not like it makes it worse when you do that. And I think if he is understanding of you trying, and if it's a one-sided effort, then I think it's just very telling of the sexual relationship. Like if it's a one-sided thing where like you're the one that's like, hey, I want to try this, or like, hey, like I want to do this and this is important to me or whatever, and if he's just like blasé about it or whatever, then I don't know, blasé the fuck out of there.
I just wanted to end with this, that about 75% of all women never reach orgasms from intercourse alone. That is without the help of sex toys, hands, or tongue, and about 10 to 15% never climax under any circumstance. So
sad. My life.
No, masturbate.
She doesn't.
You don't masturbate?
Melissa knows too much about me.
Do you not masturbate? It's all out on a podcast.
Okay, not to this one.
Well, shut up. Come on, you're excited to be here. I thought you were excited to be here. Wait, you don't masturbate?
I'm never excited. No. I mean, I don't know. Not often. I mean, I get bored.
Okay.
I don't think I've also been on like a lot of antidepressants over the years, and I think that's fucked up my sex drive.
It does.
Is there another call?
There's a listener's advice, formerly known as Producer's Corner.
Yes.
Wait, did you change the title? So much has changed, you guys.
So much has changed. Yet not a lot too. Yeah. Like it's like the same stuff, but like a lot has also changed. Yeah. So it's time for listener's advice. That's the name?
For now,
that's the name. So this is where I'm like, I don't even need to explain it to you. But if you guys are new listening here or watching here, this is where other listeners call in with their own advice from previous calls and episodes.
Yep. And this is from episode 48 with Kat Valdez. The original caller, she had a crush on her boyfriend's friend. You remember this?
Yes, a little bit.
Yes, she sent the
accidental nude. She accidentally sent his best friend a nude, which we don't know how you do that.
Doesn't sound like an accident.
Right. So this is somebody that's calling in with similar experience.
God, you all fucking homewreckers.
They're wrecking their own homes.
They are wrecking their own homes. You guys are literally
self-sabotaging.
I am calling back about a girl from the episode with Chat who has a crush on her boyfriend's friend, and she sent him like half a nude. So I have some insight on this situation. I was actually in a very similar situation when I was her age. I'm 23 now, so probably in like 2015, 2016. Me and my boyfriend, we were dating for almost 3 years at the time, and I got this huge crush on a boy that I worked with. We all worked together, him, my boyfriend, me, and the boy that I had a crush on my best friend. So I started texting him to try to hook him up with her, but then when they didn't work out, I still kept talking to him, and my boyfriend was just like being a real dick this summer. He was on his boy period, and he like just never wanted to hang out. He only wanted to play video games. So because I was alone and I felt like I didn't have anybody, and this other boy was giving me attention, then I latched onto that attention, and I talked to him all the time. I talked to him on the phone. I talked to him behind my boyfriend's back. I was still dating my boyfriend, and he just like was there for me when he knew I was upset about my boyfriend, and I think he kind of took advantage of that. I don't know if that's what happened in her situation, but my advice would be to just cut it off, because I didn't cut it off. I never cheated on my boyfriend. We did get in a really big fight over it, almost broke up. We didn't. Got over it, we're still together. But I would definitely suggest that she cut that relationship off, because it's just only going going to get more and more toxic, and you're just going to want more and more out of it when you're not getting that from your boyfriend constantly. So I understand where she's coming from, and I understand why it's tempting, but I urge her not to do it because I did it, and it was not good. Don't do it. That's all I have to say.
Sorry for giving you a stank face the entire time listening to that. I think it's good advice. I just want to say for anyone listening, including this girl, not that I've been your boyfriend, but I have. There's the idea that somebody else can make you insecure. And if you're in a committed and serious relationship, that like your partner is the reason why you are straying is not fair. Like you can't make that argument. Oh my God, don't cry, Megan. Oh God. No, but just like, no, we have to change the subject. Someone has to talk.
I think it's great that you recognize that you made a mistake, and like I'm glad that you have the foresight to be like, don't do it, I made a mistake or whatever. But I do think emotional cheating is still cheating. I'm sure you never like had sex with this person or even like were intimate with them, and you're saying that you never cheated, but there is cheating involved when you are talking behind your partner's back, when you are doing something that you know they wouldn't want you to do, or like
the fact that if you're hiding anything, it's because you know that like there's something to hide. And I think I'm so glad that you guys are together and it never like crossed that line. But just like if anyone else hearing this, like the idea that your boyfriend wasn't giving you enough attention, and that
doesn't mean it was like a pass to be like, well, I could get attention somewhere else.
Yeah. And it's also like I always say, it's like you need to give people the benefit of you need to give people the opportunity to show that they're a good person.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling anything in any relationship, like whether even it's like a friendship or a relationship, that you're feeling like your needs aren't being met, the solution there isn't to seek out that validation from somebody else. Like, again, even in friends, if you feel like your friend is being a super shitty listener, have a conversation with them about that. Don't be like, okay, I'm just not going to talk to you and I'm going to go find another friend who can fulfill that. Yeah. So I think like, while I'm so glad that you guys, like your advice is great, like don't do it. It's a total shit situation, just like you said. I think the thing that everyone should really take away from this is like, if you're unhappy in a relationship or in any sort of situation, and it's not necessary, you don't feel like it's necessarily in your control, the thing you do have control over is letting those people that you've brought into your life that you love and you trust, letting them know and giving them the chance to like show you that they can improve on that. Yeah. But if you go and seek that from somebody else, the issue there isn't, you didn't do that because like you didn't like because of your partner, you're doing that because you didn't want.
You're responsible for your actions.
Yeah. And you're responsible. And I hate the idea like, oh, you're responsible for your happiness because like depression, anxiety, all of that stuff. But like there are things that are under your control. And in order to like grow and mature as a person, like you need to like harness that control and ask for what you want. Theme of the episode, sexually. You have to ask for what you want as opposed to like trying to find it other ways or like dodge the question because you feel embarrassed or awkward and you feel needy.
Yeah.
Like you just need to straight up ask for what you need.
Open and honest communication.
It's the only way to get what you want. Time. Only way to get what you want.
Like you... Instead of, I mean, like, obviously you learn from your mistakes and I don't imagine you ever doing it again, but like the next time you feel like your boyfriend is like neglecting you, you can talk to him about it instead of seeking your own validation in different ways. But yeah, emotional cheating is still cheating.
Yeah.
If not, I think worse.
Yeah. And I think you got to give like, if someone's being distant, like when I think about it, like friendship wise, the amount of times Aislinn and I have texted each other being like, I'm sorry, are you mad at me? And it's like, oh my God, no, I'm just having a really bad day. And so like, I thought everyone else was mad at me. Like the amount of times that like you can, if you just let things fester, so much of the time when you feel like someone's pulling away or is being distant or doing something else, maybe you had a conversation that like he read too much into something that you said and has been like taking a non-verbal cue from you thinking that you wanted space, or maybe he's like dealing with something on his own terms and just isn't doing a good job of that. And so then you're internalizing it and making it about you when it's not about you at all. Yeah. Like it could be about you. It could not be about you. But like, if you don't tell somebody and have that talk, you're never going to know. Like I felt like a dick before when I've been like, I feel like I'm not getting attention. And someone's like, I've just been like really depressed and like was suicidal recently. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I should have just asked you about, and even though I asked you about it, like we're able to have that conversation, and now you're trying to keep something from me to make me feel better. Like, I think the more that you can just give people the opportunity to be the people that you want them to be.
Yeah.
And
even if they are, let's just say like they are being lazy in the relationship and they aren't like trying, and maybe he did want to play video games all day and like he wasn't being the best partner, still not an excuse. That's still not an excuse.
Don't have that on your karma. Like, have it like you find out that like that he's just kind of a lazy boyfriend, and then be like, hey, I want to walk away from this situation not feeling guilty. But like, if you start acting on something, in reality, you felt like you were acting out, but you ended up taking it to a far where now you're apologizing, as opposed to like him being like, I'm so sorry, that was really shitty of me, and you having the power. Now he has the power.
Yeah.
So
keep the power.
Keep the power. Always keep the fucking power.
Keep the power.
Okay, that's our episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Shireen, plug your shit.
Oh, right. I'm Shireen. You can follow me on things. I have a podcast called Ethically Ambiguous. It's on the How Stuff Works network. And you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, Ethnically Ambiguous. On Twitter, we're on Ethnically AMB. And then on Instagram, we're Ethnically Ambig, AMBIG. You can follow me on Instagram, Shiro Hero, SHEEROHERO. And then Twitter, I'm Shireen Y, because someone took Shiro Hero. So it's SHEREENWHY. And I'm a filmmaker, and so you can like follow me on all my stuff. And I'm trying to make some more things right now because I have some free time. But yeah.
What about your book?
And I have a poetry book called Dime Piece. Because it's like spans 10 years of like from 16 to 26, like the collection of poems I had from there. So it's kind of like a diary. It's like chronological. It's on Amazon Prime. $16.66 because Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. I'm gonna buy that shit. I love poetry.
And I'm making a second one right now, which I think is a little bit better than my first, because I have this thing about poetry for me anyway, that like, I don't edit, and I put in the shitty ones to like mark my growth, even though like a lot of poets that I know like are very like edit heavy, but I'm not like that. So my second one, it's like 50 pages deep, and I'm excited about it.
Oh my god, so cool. I love poetry.
Me too.
I'm also very much not an editor with it.
For me, it's like a cathartic release, and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
And I can never get back into like the mindset when I wrote it. Like half the time I'll read it, I'm like, what was I talking about? And I'm like, I don't know how to edit this to make it better, because I don't know what the fuck I was saying.
And I've gotten people, like when I was in high school, I had like a website, and I would put my poems on there, and I remember someone's finding them one day. And
terrifying.
But it's like the emotions I felt then were like there, and then I don't feel them anymore.
It's the most cathartic thing. That was like literally why I started a Tumblr when I was younger. Like it was just like
a Zanga. You ever heard of Zanga? An Angel Fire?
The time. Oh my god, I wonder if people are too young. I don't know what that is.
What's a GeoCities?
What's that? Well, if you guys want to be on an upcoming episode of the podcast, you can give us a call at 310-694-0976. And if you're an international listener, you can email us at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. These were some great calls. So if you just take this as like some advice, like if you heard this and we went there, know that we'll go there again if you have something that you've been afraid to call in about.
And if you do want to be on the podcast also, maybe you can start as a camera op, and then dreams come true.
Oh my god, I can't with you. If you guys want to follow Melissa and I, our socials will be down below, as well as our website, don'tblameme.show. If you're watching this on YouTube, go subscribe to us on iTunes and go listen to the audio version of the podcast, so you can listen to it in your car. And then if you're listening to it in your car or in your headphones, then go home and watch the video version, so you can watch Shireen get incredibly uncomfortable.
All my facial expressions.
Same. Also listen on Stitcher.
And listen on Stitcher. Woo! This is all exciting, guys.
This was fun.
Oh my god, I'm so glad
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I'm glad I didn't wear royal blue. Oh yeah.
Love, give me love. Oh, guys, you look so good today too.
Thanks, I tried really hard.
Everybody go comment. She looks very pretty today. I mean, you always look pretty, but you look especially pretty today. Oh my god, you have such nice eyelashes. Okay, we can end the episode now.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. Post-production sound by Chris Henry. Production assistance by Julie Carley. And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go Network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures.
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry, Jiminy.
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.